The adventures of the new Superman continued this week with the release of Absolute Superman number 10. For those that haven't been keeping up, this alternate reality version of Superman is quite different to anything we've seen before. Rather than growing up with kindly parents in America's heartlands, this Superman grew up on Krypton with his biological parents and got to see the destruction firsthand. Krypton's elites had mined the planet to the point of collapse and tried to hide that information from the everyday people. In the riots and chaos that erupted once the news leaked, infighting guaranteed their destruction. Kal-El's parents had tried to escape with as many of their friends and neighbours as possible, but the debris of the exploding planet destroyed their spacecraft, sending teenager Kal-El drifting off into space alone. When he eventually arrived on Earth, he was almost immediately targeted by the nefarious Lazarus Corp, headed by the immortal Ghul, who planned to destroy Earth and then resurrect it stronger than before. Since that day, 5 years ago, Superman has been on the run, a citizen of the world trying to avert ecological and environmental disaster wherever he finds it. Along the way, he caught the attention of both intrepid Lazarus agent Lois Lane and the Resistance, the Omega Men, who wanted to recruit him in their war against the Lazarus Corp. Meanwhile, Ghul had enlisted the help of Brainiac and Chris Smith, the cybernetically enhanced Peacemaker, to bring Superman in. When we last saw Superman, he accompanied the Omega Men on a raid to one of Lazarus Corp's facilities in Pakistan, where the people were protesting the corporation's brutal murder of civilians. Unfortunately, Superman arrived too late. The protesters had all been executed. The head of the Omega Men, Primus, used this atrocity to encourage Superman to give in to his instincts and obliterate all of the Peacemakers, but he resisted. At the time of the last issue's conclusion, it was revealed that Alpha of the Omega Men, also known as Jimmy Olsen, had been left behind in Pakistan and was now being interrogated by Lois Lane. So, when this issue begins, the Lazarus Corp are making their preparations for Superman's arrival. Brainiac has been running simulations, and he has deduced that Superman is solar-powered, so they choose a remote facility in Greenland, topical, where the sun won't rise for another 7 days as their battleground. Ghul is even there, eager to meet his son. Now, he may be a centuries-old billionaire, but he's obviously not deluded enough to believe Superman to be his genetic offspring. He's more talking figuratively, more like an heir, someone powerful enough to enact his vision for the planet. The problem is that Superman is kind and compassionate. He refuses to kill, and he certainly won't stand by and watch another planet be destroyed. So Russ prepares a small test for him by arming Chris Smith with a gun loaded with kryptonite bullets, and tells Smith that he reports directly to him now, which is quite the honour. Even with the steps they have taken, Superman gets the better of them, taking out Smith in precisely 4 seconds. And there's something very sad about Smith. He very clearly knew that there was something wrong with him, which is why he went to Brainiac in the first place, to try to get signed off from duty. But instead he was manipulated both psychologically and physically to become an instrument. He's just so hateful, criticising Superman for being an illegal alien, topical, in front of Brainiac no less, who I am 100% certain does not hold a valid passport. But nobody cares about him, and his body has been mangled and chewed up by the Lazarus Corp in an attempt to make him a threat to Superman. But he still isn't enough. No matter what he does, he will never be able to defeat Superman. Now, one of the things I found interesting in this issue is the juxtaposition between Jor-El, Superman's actual father, and Ghul, the man who wants to be Superman's father. There's a flashback to Krypton where Jor-El gets his hands dirty, facing off against the endangered creatures of Krypton to protect the wounded miners. He risks his life and takes those creatures' lives in order to protect the weak. There's a very on-the-nose conversation between Jor-El and Kal-El that he is prepared to be a violent man in defense of others and their society. He notes that this was the way of his ancestors and it is something that he did out of necessity, but it isn't something to be admired or celebrated. These are the thoughts that run through Superman's mind as he considers all the ways in which he could deal with Chris Smith. He could incinerate his mind with just a glance. He could paralyse him, making sure that he'd never hurt anyone again. He could rip his heart out and hurl it into space. However, what he decides to do instead is heed his father's words, and he does nothing. What's more, when Primus chastises him for his perceived weakness, he disarms her to save Smith's life, and that is who Superman is. Ghul, meanwhile, treats his people as disposable resources to bring down Superman. Chris Smith is essentially sacrificed, and when Superman won't kill him, Russ does it himself, using the kryptonite bullet. Superman intervenes, holding his hand out and absorbing the bullet. It wasn't entirely clear to me if Superman was successful in saving Smith's life. Maybe the bullet went through and hit him anyway, but I think he was. And it's here that the big twist of the issue happens. As Superman is wounded by the kryptonite bullet, he is literally stabbed in the back by Primus with a kryptonite blade. She is revealed to be, drumroll please, Talia al Ghul. So I was right about one thing, but I had assumed that she had founded the Omega Men as a way of battling her tyrannical chauvinistic father. He makes such a big deal about wanting a son or needing an heir when he already had a more than capable daughter in Talia. I had thought that her attacking the Lazarus Corp was a way of getting back at her father and tipping the scales against him. But it was all theatre, presumably with the intention of capturing Superman. And that completely reframes the battles between the Peacemakers and the Omega Men from earlier issues. So many people sacrificed their lives for Talia's cause, and she gave a number of others hope. But it was false hope. She loves her father and he loves her, although not enough to make her his heir. In the mainline comics, Ra's al Ghul wants Batman to become his heir by marrying Talia, but here Ra's makes it clear that he views Talia as Superman's sister, not his bride, which is an important distinction to make. What's also worth noting is that Darkseid's father box seems to be aligned with them, so this means that the Lazarus Corp are the minions of Darkseid. The vision of the future that it gave Superman, where the Earth was filled with ghettos as far as the eye can see with huge fire pits, is likely the future that Ra's al Ghul is working towards. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think that sounds like much of a resurrection. Absolute Superman number 10 is available now from all good comic shops. If you are based in the UK and don't have a comic shop near you, then you might want to use my affiliate link with the UK's biggest comic book retailer, Forbidden Planet. I have included a link in the pinned comment on this video. Alternatively, if the idea of hoarding a collection of comic books fills you with dread, I had to offload 8 boxes of stuff to make space for all my new comics. Jeez. You may want to try getting a digital copy of the issue from Amazon. I also have an affiliate link with them, which you could use to help my channel out. This is also included in the pinned comment. To those that have read this issue, what did you think? Can I just say that I feel like a complete idiot for not twigging that the reason kryptonite is called kryptonite is because it's a meteorite from Krypton. I'd always assumed that it was just a mineral or element that ended in ite like tanzanite or sulfite, but no, it's a combination of meteorite and krypton. I am an idiot. This is almost as bad as it taking nearly 35 years for me to realise that The Clown Prince of Crime was a play on Crown Prince. On a more positive note, I absolutely loved that this world's media couldn't get Jimmy Olsen's name right. Timmy Olsen, haha. Oh, the disrespect. And Lois's little dig at reporters, if only she knew. Finally, now that the Omega Men have been revealed to be the pawns of Ra's al Ghul, what's next for Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane? Jimmy was already feeling disillusioned with the world to the point that he had a vasectomy, so he can't be in a good place right now. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next time, I'll be back shortly with a video about Absolute Green Lantern number 5. The book promises to feature a showdown between Black Star Hal Jordan and Green Lantern Joe Sojourner, while Hector Hammond loots the ruins of Evergreen. What can possibly go wrong? And the next Absolute comic I'll be talking about is Absolute Batman number 11, which is billed as the secret origin of Absolute Bane. Presumably this was given to us as a little breather from the horrors of Arkham. Given how monstrous he is, though, I can't imagine that this is going to be a pleasant read. Hope to see you then.